Hello, everybody. It's Wayne here from E-Stim Systems, and today on the podcast, I'm going to talk about something that's slightly different, and that is how do you travel with E-Stim? Now, where does this come from? And the simple answer is it comes from two places. One, it came from a conversation that Joanne was having on her live stream a week or so ago. And I thought, oh, that's something I can talk about on the podcast. And secondly, it comes from the fact that we recently did a show in Barcelona and we traveled with all of our eSTIM kit on the aircraft. And for a lot of people, traveling with eSTIM kit or traveling with any sex toys is going to cause them a bit of anxiety because they're concerned that people at the airport, because these days with heightened security, people are going to want to see what things are. They're going to pull them all out of the case. They're going to show everyone, and there's going to be lots of embarrassment. For some people, that's exactly what they want. They get turned on by that sort of thing. But this is for most of us who don't really want to broadcast our personal and private information all over the world. So, how do we travel with eSTIM? Now, for us as a business, it's a little bit different most of the time because we'll either ship kit out to an event, but because Barcelona was something that we hadn't done before, we decided to try and ship it out ourselves. And apart from the customs element, there's not a lot of different to what we did and what you would do normally, apart from the fact that we were carrying an awful lot more kit. We carried around about 70 kilos. That included a display stand. With us, all of it went in the hold, apart from a couple of items which were last minute and didn't go on the carnet, so they had to go into hand luggage. So, what is my advice for traveling with eSTIM? First thing is, you have to know the rules. There are two big rules for traveling with anything on airlines. And most of this conversation is going to be about traveling on airlines because with airlines and airports, that's where the higher levels of security are. Two things you have to know. Firstly, at the moment, and this is 2024, there are still limitations on liquids. So if you want to travel on any airline, particularly international, you have to have less than 100 milliliters of liquid in your hand luggage. This means if you're carrying lubes and you're going to put them in your hand luggage, then they have to be less than 100 milliliters. If they're larger than 100 milliliters, they have to go into checked baggage. If you're putting lube into checked baggage, what I would do is put it into a plastic bag and then wrap it into a towel or something before you put it into checked baggage. The big problem with checked baggage is, although they try and look after it, it's going to get chucked around. It's going to get chucked out of the plane onto a conveyor, through the conveyor system, etc., etc. It's going to get thrown about. So if you're putting lube into your luggage, make sure that if it leaks, it doesn't leak over everything, hence the plastic bag. So make sure the top is on tight as well, and wrap it in a towel to give it a little bit more protection. So that's lube. If you're traveling with lube in your hand luggage, then it has to be less than 100 milliliters, which is why we do E-Stim gel in a little tube, because that's less than 100 mil. Perfect. In fact, it actually is 100 mil. Second big thing of traveling with E-Stim is batteries. Now, batteries on aircraft, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, Samsung phones and probably a few other phones had massive issues with batteries exploding. Now, this isn't any general battery. These are lithium polymer batteries or lithium ion batteries. Basically, they're modern rechargeable batteries. They must go in your hand luggage. The reason they must go in your hand luggage is because that way, if there is an incident with the battery and it gets damaged in flight and it starts to get overheated and burn, it can be dealt with. If it's in the cargo hold, that's going to cause an issue. The last thing you want to have is a fire in the cargo hold, so try and avoid that. So if you're carrying any eSTIM kit that isn't eSTIM Systems kit, then you will have to carry it in your hand luggage because you're going to have lithium polymer batteries inside it. eSTIM Systems kit, we use a 9-volt PP3 battery. Why do we use a 9-volt PP3 battery? Isn't that old-fashioned? Two main reasons. One, you can find them anywhere. Two, if the battery goes flat whilst you're playing, you can unclip it, plug in a new battery, and carry on playing. One thing I personally hate with anything that's rechargeable is you get to the point where you're just, oh, it's perfect. You've had a wonderful day, a wonderful evening of play, and now everything's gone flat. And that kills the mood for me so quickly, it's just unbelievable. With a PP3 battery, you can quickly slip the old one out, slip the new one in, and carry on. And half the time, your sub doesn't even notice that you've changed the battery, apart from the fact the power level's now gone up through the roof. But that's another story. The other benefit is with PP3 batteries, they don't have the same limitations that you would have on a rechargeable device with lithium polymer batteries. So you can put E-Stim Systems boxes into the hold. If you're going to do that, please, please, please make sure the batteries are disconnected so your device cannot accidentally switch on. Going back to the discussion about lube, there's always that issue if things in the hold are going to get thrown about, trashed potentially, and you might want to keep your expensive E-Stim Systems kit a little bit more protected. So first thing is, keep it in the plastic carry cases that all of our power boxes come in. That's why we ship them in a foam padded plastic box. It protects the kit. It also allows you to put a little bit of extra cables, even an electrode in there. So it gives you some protection. So if you're going to pack it in hold luggage, make sure you unplug the battery so it doesn't accidentally switch on. You can, of course, carry it in your hand luggage. Now, everyone panics about this. They think, oh my God, they're going to see what I've got. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been traveling with E-Stim kit for longer than that. And the only time I've ever been stopped, they just look at you, they look at what's there, they might ask you quietly, what is it? And the answer is, it's a TENS unit. It's for pain relief. Or if you want to be a little bit more in your face, they're sex toys. They'll look at you, they'll look at the device, they'll probably smile, and they'll put it back. They have seen everything. As long as it doesn't look like a weapon, as long as it doesn't look like it's going to explode, they're just going to treat it as something they see every single day. One time we did go through airport security and got pinged, you know, the little machine that goes ping.
Leave it to us.
What's that for?
That's the machine that goes ping.
It was down to Kaz's M&Ms. So that's when the swabs came out and we started swabbing everything. They looked at my stuff, no issues. They put her M&Ms through the X-ray and it goes ping.
Wonderful what we can do nowadays. Ah, I see you have the machine that goes ping.
And we had to explain that, yes, they're M&Ms. It's chocolate. Yeah, anyway, not a problem. It would also probably help if you're carrying lots of things. Use the protective tubes that we have. That's why they're there. They're there to protect things. Cables and little accessories like adapters, put into a clear plastic bag and stick it into the case or stick it into your bag. So at least they can see what's there if they want to route around. And it also helps you not losing bits and pieces. The other thing I would say is if you're traveling with E-Stim kit, take some spares with you. Take some spare cables, take some spare batteries. I know I say that batteries are available everywhere, but I guarantee you could be in that hotel at 3 a.m. and the hotel's not going to sell the batteries. So take some spares with you. I will tell you a little related story, and this is related to traveling with E-Stim, but not in relation to airports. We do a show on a regular basis out to Hanover in Germany, and we drive a van out there with the stand and all the kit, because generally when we do shows, we tend to take more kit than we can actually get into normal excess luggage, and it's just a little bit easier to take a van. So we drive and we take a van. It's about a 12-hour drive, but we can do that. So we did the show in Germany and we were driving back and we got stopped probably about 10, 15 miles away from the port of Calais. Now, Calais in France has a bit of an issue with illegal immigration trying to get into the UK. I don't know why they're trying to get into the UK, but they have a bit of an issue. So there tends to be spot checks outside the port, and a British registered van is something they're going to look at. Don't ask me why, they just do. They think we're booze running or something like that. So we got stopped, and the French customs guys, who speak very good English, asked us what we were carrying. It'd been a long drive, so the answer was we're carrying sex toys. This generated quite a lot of mirth, and they wanted to have a look. So we, pulled over, opened the back, showed them some of the display stuff. And next question, do you have a catalogue? The answer is, yeah, we do. So they grabbed a catalogue. So yeah, we have the opportunity to sell to some French customs guy our products. I'm not sure if they bought anything. It doesn't really get marked up as send to customs at Calais. It was quite funny. And I think we probably made their day. If they're just usually dealing with grumpy people who don't want to be stopped and are probably carrying too many cigarettes. Big thing I will say, if you're dealing with anyone authority who is going to open your bags and look at what you've got in there, realize that they are doing their job. Never, ever, ever get grumpy because they're going to go through their bags. You might be feeling a little bit of embarrassment. You might be feeling a little bit anxious, but just realize that they're doing their job. Always be polite. Always be courteous. And if they ask a question, yeah, tell them it's a sex toy. They're not going to get fazed by it. And they'd much rather deal with you being open and honest than being evasive and getting shirty with them when they're doing their job. And at the end of the day, no matter what happens, they're going to win because they've got the backup of authority. So just be nice to them. be polite, don't have issues with it. Generally, we have not had any issues traveling with E-Stim kit around the world. And we've done quite a bit of traveling. Hopefully this little podcast has given you a bit of insight into traveling with E-Stim. If it has, please consider the old thumbs up, and please consider leaving comments. We always do our best to answer them. But whatever you do, please enjoy yourself, be safe, and of course, have fun. Bye.